Take forward the conversation. Joining me is Ambassador Anil Kumar Trigunayat, former senior diplomat. Ambassador Trigunayat, good evening and welcome, sir. First, what did you make of the tone and tenor of the US Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, as he seek to justify action against Iran and to the American people and the world at large?
Well, for anybody who's observing it, and I quite noted his comment that war is hell. Now I wonder why did they impose it on Iran while they were very much close to some kind of a deal, but despite shifting goalposts, and therefore what followed thereafter, after the decapitation of the leadership, especially killing of Khamenei, who was expecting it in any case. I think that they have really inflamed the whole region by this kind of a callous attitude. So if regime change was their agenda, it is not that easy to do so. Although he said that there are three reasons for which they have come in and they like to do that, whether it's nuclear, the missiles, or the proxies, it is not that easy to do so. So Iran may not have the capacity to fight, but as long as it is in the fray and put into the corner, it has the capacity to inflict the damage in the region. And that's what precisely the incendiary kind of situation that we are in it. It's highly volatile and is continuing to expand, unfortunately. And I don't see any efforts being made by either side to scale it down. So what he has said basically is trying to justify the action, and also to the domestic constituency, because once the body bags start going back to the United States, right now they admit about 5 or 6 or whatever, the real numbers will come out much later. Then you will know that the American public opinion, and as has been already coming out, will also militate against this kind of misadventure, in my view. And so we are looking at a difficult situation for them internationally and both domestically. There are going to be problems for them. So they're just trying to justify it to their own people, to the Congress, to others, that this was a legitimate war, which it was not, in my view.
Ambassador Trigunayat, on the question of if regime change was the objective of this action, I want to quote Pete Hegseth when he says, no stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise, no politically correct wars. I mean, does that statement give insight into the Trump administration's worldview in general, and also specifically the possible outcome of the Iran conflict? I mean, what is the end game that America may be looking at?
Shubhendu, I think Pete Hegseth is a spokesperson for President Trump. But you have to listen to President Trump, what he said himself. He told the people that you may rise, we will hand over the power to you. That means by removing this. So that's a very different thing. Now, if they want to give it a spin in a different way, that's another thing. Now, of course, the America does not go to build the nations. That's understandable. We have seen it in Afghanistan 20 years. What happened? India was the only country which was contributing to the nation building in Afghanistan. And that's why the Afghans, irrespective of Taliban having a different philosophy, have realized that. So here, nobody has that. Here, the whole purpose is, as far as the geopolitics of it is concerned, is essentially to provide the primacy for the continued superiority of the Israel, its security. And jointly, that's why they have undertaken this exercise. Whether they have bitten a little more than they could chew is something that the time will only tell.
What do you see the direction in which the conflict appears to be heading? With every passing day, it appears that it is spilling beyond the territories of the adversaries, the key players of the conflict in the West Asian region.
Well, of course, it will expand because the Iranians have been preparing this for last 8 months after what happened in June last year. And it is exactly the same playbook that has been played out even this time. First time they had 6 rounds of talks, and when the talks were near the completion, suddenly goalposts were shifted, and then you have the war that time. But that time, America did not want Khomeini to be taken out, and it came in with its B-52 bombers, apparently, and finally allowed an off-ramp to Iran as well by allowing them to attack on one of their bases. But then this time, the first thing they tried to do was, because CIA and Mossad had been working according to their own admission, to take out Khamenei and the top leadership. Now, that means the regime change is very much the basic objective, and the United States, not only President Trump, but nearly all presidents have indulged and involved in this. It's a 67, 68 regime change which has taken place. And we don't know whether they'll be able to succeed in this because Iran is a different ball altogether. But how will it play out is the worst part is that everybody who watches the region, always feared that there would be any direct confrontation between Iran and Israel. Now, Israel without the United States support will not be able to take on Israel. That's also true. Without the boots on ground, it will be very difficult because we have seen what happened in Libya. They wanted to replicate the same kind of thing here. Now, the problem with Iran is that it has not only attacked the US assets as well as the Israeli assets or Israel by itself, but has also attacked the various bases in the region, in various countries that have been so far neutral or have been telling President Trump not to attack Iran because they would be in the line of fire. So precisely what it has done is, so whatever little rapprochement that has been built has been eroded completely, the trust. And therefore they feel that Iran is the biggest danger, that they always used to that feel, and now more so. So it is very likely that the Gulf countries might decide to take upon themselves have some kind of a regional security architecture and even support the United States in decimating the regime to the extent possible. Although it is a very, very complicated matter because Iran may be a divided house, but at the same time is still a civilizational country where people think about their country first and their internal defenses later. So despite the external aggression, external provocation, I doubt very much that it will be easy for them to do the objective. So like everywhere else, destruction will be I think, the end result.
Right, and Ambassador, we talk about India's concerns. Prime Minister Modi today connected with leaders of Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Now, India's priority would be the safety of some 10 million, 1 crore strong Indian diaspora living across different parts of West Asia. How do you evaluate the risks posed to them in this ongoing conflict?
The very first thing is if the conflict really expands and Iranians, to a great extent, become really cornered, then obviously they'll be hitting missiles here and there, irrespective. Currently, they are just doing it on military assets or the US assets in the region. But there is no, I think, denying the fact that even by accident, a missile in a major building or major area where a large number of Indians are living could be disastrous for us. So therefore, Prime Minister Modi has been trying to approach and asking everybody to de-escalate the war. The foreign minister also spoke to the foreign minister of Iran as well as Israel. Prime Minister has spoken to Prime Minister of Israel as well as UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain and others we'll be talking to. Basically trying to ensure that Indians are safe there because we have gone there to help those countries rebuild themselves in their own development agenda, but they get caught in the crossfire. I have myself evacuated many times the Indians stuck in situations.
I was just coming to that, Ambassador, from your own experience, how critical role do embassies also play in a juncture like this?
Well, embassies are very primary movers in this whole thing. They are the ones who lead, they are the ones who remain in touch with all the Indian citizens to the extent possible. They are the ones who advise people, and it will be really important that the ordinary people and citizens of India must listen to what our embassies and ambassadors say. And they stay indoors, they have to stay indoors. If they say that to move to some place, there is always a contingency plan that we do, but the task is indeed gigantic. I mean, it's you can imagine to take out 20, 30,000 becomes such a major deal. Now we are talking of 10 million people. But India is trying its best. India has always taken care of its citizens and brought them out of the harm's way from all conflict zones so far. So, but we hope that situation does not come to that. But the Indian government will be committed to provide all assistance to our citizens. There is no doubt about it.
On that note, Ambassador Trigunayat, thank you very much for joining us on the
Thank
news.
you.